Bitcoin breaks all of your models. And this is a saying that's said a lot in the Bitcoin community. And I honestly can't remember who says it now, to be quite honest, but this has been said by numerous people over the last few years, and Bitcoin truly does break all of your models. What's going on, guys? Brandon here. Just wanted to make a quick video on Bitcoin repricing everything. And this is something that Mike Maloney has talked about for a long, long time. Might do a whiteboard on this soon, but it's Americans or Westerners know the price of everything and the value of nothing. And it really is true. We have such a hard time being able to understand what is actually happening to our wealth. It's from shrinkflation to disinflation to inflation to deflation to you name it. And it's hard to see what's actually going on because we can't see the literal theft of our money. We can't see the digits being typed into a computer over and over and over again. However, we know they're happening. We know it's happening. We know the box that costs $5 for the cereal now has half the cereal in it, the shrinkflation. We know that we can see obviously the inflation going up. We can see it coming back down a little more slowly, but still rising, disinflation. And then we have indeflation, which indeflation, I believe now, I can't totally remember, Mike Maloney coined it. It's asset prices coming down and consumer prices rising, which is really an interesting time. Then you have stagflation, obviously, which is slowing economic growth and increasing inflation. Incredible times, really incredible times. And Bitcoin reprices all these things. Bitcoin is the transfer of wealth. It's the constant. Remember in science class when you were a kid and you had to do experiments and your teacher said, you know what? We got to do one variable, guys. We can only have one variable, else we won't know what the change is. We don't know what the difference is. We don't know what's actually going on. Bitcoin is that constant. It is the control experiment. It's the thing we can look to that doesn't change. It's the rock. It's the gravity doesn't change, right? Gravity is 9.8 meters squared per second. That doesn't change. It's not 10.8 the next day and then 15.8 and then back down to 4.8 and then 9.8. It's the same. And that's what's happening to our currency. We're trying to value Apple stock or that house over there. Or we're trying to value our business. We're trying to pricing goods and services we're buying and selling. And you can't do it because the interest rate is constantly moving. Gravity is 20.8 one day and then it's 9.8 the next day and then it's 3.8 the next day. It makes zero sense. That's why so many people have so many problems right now with their wealth, and also what causes people to literally go insane. They're mad. They're frustrated. The Tea Party protest 12 years ago, Occupy Wall Street, those were two sides of the same coin. People that were very, very, very upset about their life being manipulated by people that knew what was going on, the 1%, the unproductive class, and that trickled down throughout society. But the average person is being told to fight each other. Right? Man versus woman, red versus blue, Democrat versus Republican. That's not the game. It's not red versus blue. It's the state versus you. That is the difference. And Bitcoin fixes this. This is one of the many reasons Bitcoin fixes this. We're going to talk about this. This is the whole point of this video is just how Bitcoin reprices everything and is the new control. It's the constant. It's the thing you can measure everything off of. Knut Svanholm has an awesome book. I don't agree with Knut on everything. However, the one thing he nails is Bitcoin is 21 million divided by everything. That is the book. It's only 120, 130 pages. You should go check it out. And again, I agree with 95% of what he says. And what I disagree with isn't even, I think, about Bitcoin. It's about other stuff. However, everything divided by 21 million, if I could talk, is the purpose of this. That's what breaks all your models. Now you have something, and you go to timechain-stats.com or go to everything priced in Bitcoin, I believe it is. Go check those out, and I'll try to link those in here. Everything priced by 21 million or everything priced in Bitcoin. Just search it, if anything, in Google, and you'll see it. And it's just named that. And you'll start seeing the charts. Click on the charts, and you'll see what actually happens when you price everything in Bitcoin. Everything's crashing, and that's called an invisible crash. Mike Maloney talked about this for years, and this is what woke me up 12 years ago as to what was actually happening with the value of what we owned. You know, when you divide, central banks, all their printing by the stock market, you divide all their central bank printing by the median price housing, it just goes flat. The last 12, 15 years had just been flat. People think like, oh, I've gained in value. Things went down, and then all of a sudden, since then, I've just gone up. No. That same house just costs more and more of those dollars, or more of that fiat currency, where in Bitcoin terms, if you would have been holding Bitcoin, it actually crashes and goes through the floor. And I guess I should do it this way. It just crashes in Bitcoin terms and goes through the floor. Everything's doing that. That's the invisible crash. Mike Maloney, God love him. I've learned more from him than probably anyone in the world when it comes to monetary history and money. However, he thinks it's going to be gold and silver that do that. There's still a chance that gold and silver plays a big role in the next decade or two, because I know central banks own a lot of gold and they're continually accumulating gold, and there's something to say about that. However, this is bottom up. Overall, the 99% are going to reprice everything in Bitcoin, because that's where they can front run all of the people that hold gold and hold fiat currency. Bitcoin money is a zero-sum game. So when you look at everything, gold and silver traditionally did this as well. When you price everything in gold and Bitcoin, things generally went down, and you could reset everything in terms of gold and silver. It's a hard asset, but again, those still have some type of inflationary amount to them, 1% to 2% each year, and you can find more all over the universe. Obviously, where Bitcoin, there's only going to be 21 million. So it's a true constant. Literally everything. You can take the value of anything or the price of anything and divide it by 21 million, the price of Bitcoin, or the amount of Bitcoin, I should say, I'm sorry. And you divide it by 20 million, and you can start getting the true value and charting out exactly what the value of something is. And that's where we start to heal. It's one of the reasons we start to heal, is because now sanity is returned to the human mind, because we now have goalposts that aren't moving with interest rates and debasement of currency, and the currency moving all over, gravity moving all over. Now we have the ability to value things that don't change, and we can get a fair and accurate assessment of goods and services, of asset prices, etc., etc. So hopefully that makes sense. Again, go to everything priced in Bitcoin, search that in Google, and then timechainstats.com, and you'll be able to see the Bitcoin and what Bitcoin buys you. And I love them because, again, you can go look at the charts of these different things, these different assets, and you can see them charted. And again, housing is one of the amazing things. Years ago, or a couple years ago, I had seen some charts on Palo Alto homes in California, obviously very expensive homes, and they're going through the roof in dollar terms. I guess I should do it this way. They're going through the roof in dollar terms. However, when you price it in Bitcoin, it's just going through the floor. It's just absolutely going through the floor. So if you held Bitcoin the last 10 years, you can now buy more and more and more Palo Alto homes. But if you are holding in dollars and trying to save and earn in dollars, your life's getting more and more expensive. You have to keep holding more and more just to get the same home. So again, just goes to show you, Bitcoin breaks all the models. This is what's so incredibly important. I know I keep beating a dead horse, and we're going to continue obviously talking about many different topics here. Trust but verify. Please go do your own homework as well. I try to, this is not financial advice, it's freedom advice. And you're removing yourself from the system. You're becoming your own central bank. You're becoming your own sovereign entity, your own sovereign, if you will, your own sovereign nation. And that's the beauty of Bitcoin. And we're going to continue doing our own homework and exposing what's going on. But I want you to do your own homework. Trust but verify. That's the ethos of the Bitcoin community. Trust but verify. And if we can all do that, and we can prepare mentally, spiritually, physically, and emotionally, we continue doing that, we're all going to have a much cleaner, more efficient, healthier future, because we are prepared and we're less dependent on our overlords, and then their power subsequently, because of that Bitcoin standard, because of a hard money standard, continually is eroded. And again, we'll talk more about why that is eroded and what that power is that they have and why it's being taken from them, and they can't do anything about it. I know people say, well, they're not going to let it go that easily. They're not going to let it go. There's no choice. There's nothing that they can do about it. They can't do anything but say, change the code, put out, FUD, put out news articles. They can't do anything. There's nothing they can do. They can try to pass laws. You can't stop Bitcoin. You don't change Bitcoin. Bitcoin changes you. If you try to ban Bitcoin, let's go somewhere else. China is the greatest example, the most authoritarian government in the world. They've tried to ban it 2 different times. Miners and exchanges the last 6-7 years, everything's just fled the country, and all that wealth vanished. So you can't do anything about it. And at the end of the day, we're the government. As Jeff Booth says, we are the government. So we can change the government. If the government is the problem, we can change it. And if enough people, 5, 10, 15, 20% of people are loud enough and effective enough, we will change it. Believe me, that's all it took for the Revolutionary War. And this is a peaceful revolution. Only takes a few percent. Small, irate, intransigent minority. Excuse me, I cannot talk today. So I appreciate you. Please share this with somebody, your friends, family, someone that's on the edge, someone who doesn't get it, someone who needs to hear this. I know, again, it's hard to be Messiah in your own town, so sometimes it's more effective if someone else is saying it, someone else, is telling someone or explaining to someone, sharing stories. So please share it with them. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Twitter, Brandon_Gentili. I'm very active there. Appreciate your time and energy. It's the most important thing we have. If you don't like it, again, please let me know what you'd like to see. We, sometimes we'll get, 1 or 2 unlikes or dislikes, but we don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know if people just don't like what's happening and they're ticked about, the events that are going on in the world, and they don't like the news article of the day. And I'm guessing that's what some of it is, but please let me know what we can do better and how we can provide better entertainment, value, education here. And again, appreciate your time. It's the most important asset we have. It's the only finite asset like Bitcoin. Bitcoin is time, and time is Bitcoin. It's the only fair trade I can see. And Bitcoin is truly repricing everything. It's the invisible crash, and it's the transfer of wealth from those who understand, I should say, from those who aren't understanding, unfortunately, and aren't open-minded, to those who understand. So I appreciate you, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.